Episode 79 of Multiplaying is brought to you by Hash Browns.
I like some real crisp.
Everybody online, looking good.
A companion podcast to the collaborative blog and gaming community that's playing as life allows. This is Multiplaying.
Well, let's start the insanity.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hello?
Great heavens! What kind of radio show is this?
And welcome back to Multiplaying, everybody. Tonight on the show, what are you drinking, Dean?
Oh, you had to start with me. I've got the lamest drink
I don't
ever.
read them in order.
I've got water.
Mixed
Jason?
with what?
What was that?
Mixed with what? Like vodka?
It's just plain water. I know.
After this long week that you've had, Dean, you have to break out the water.
Come on. Treat yourself.
I got
you
places.
deserve it.
Treat yourself. Yeah, I maybe later.
All right, Jason, what you drinking?
I'm drinking a Heine.
Hot.
You actually like Heineken?
No, I mean, it was on sale.
Okay.
It's fine.
You're asking the person
You
that
hate-
buys Game Day on occasion?
I have not drank Game Day in a long time.
I know. Just saying, on occasion,
My ass is very thankful for that.
you've been known to buy some 7-Eleven and other store brand brews.
Was that Great Flats?
Big Flats.
Big Flats. The thing with Game Day, like 7-Eleven should do a combo where you get the Game Day and you also get like some extra soft toilet paper.
But it's already combined with regret.
Yeah.
Can't
And just throw a whatchamacallit in there too, because you don't give a fuck about yourself anymore.
Hey, I like whatchamacallits.
I know, me too. But I think I told on the podcast before. I remember buying Game Day and just getting a candy bar and just on the way home eating the candy bar and just looking at the Game Day and like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, that's good. I have got the Amaretto Sour tonight, and we'll get into what we've been playing the past week or so. I can guess what Dean's been playing, but I'm going to start with Jason anyways. Ha ha. You just get ready, sir. Jason, what you been playing?
I beat Batman Arkham City this week.
Oh, you beat it?
I'm still playing it.
Oh, yeah. Does the world stay open after you beat it?
Yeah, the world stays open, and it's pretty interesting. I won't do spoilers, but there are missions like that. It sets the path for you after you beat the main storyline. So all the main threads will wrap up in a pretty good finale that's got some kind of shocking moments, considering this is a comic game and you know the characters. But it also sets up things that you can do afterwards. Mm-hmm. I guess this isn't much of a spoiler, but as Catwoman and Batman. So as soon as the credits rolled and I got through it, I plugged another probably 2 hours into it after that, and I'm still planning on playing it and wrapping up all the side quests and everything that I didn't get to finish, but also the main story stuff that that still is left.
Wow.
But,
now, are you planning on going through and trying to get all the Riddler clues?
No, there are so many in this game
that's one of those
it's
too ridiculous to try.
I didn't do that in Arkham Asylum either.
Mm-hmm.
I got quite a bit of them, but I didn't go hunt them all down after the game was over. And there are so many in this game that it seems kind of ridiculous. They do a neat thing in this game where as you're fighting in different areas, Batman will recognize one of Riddler's henchmen who may be working undercover for him. It's kind of how they explain it. So you may drop into a group of dudes, and one of them will be marked green with Batman's vision. So you want to save him for last. You don't want to knock him out. So you avoid fighting him until the very end, and when he's the last person standing, you get a button prompt that will let you interrogate him. And Batman will, tell me, I know you work for the Riddler, tell me what you know. And the guy will spill the secrets about where the trophies are in that area.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It'll mark them on your maps, so it does give you some incentive to kind of go mess with them.
So I assume that if you do accidentally take him out in the midst of the melee, do they respawn another one?
Yeah, everything in that game respawns.
Okay.
Like just thug wise, so you get another chance. But I like that aspect of the combat that you had to. I would jump over him versus trying to counter him when he was attacking me, and save him for the end.
Question I have: I've ordered Batman Arkham City. Amazon was running a deal with their like Cyber Weekend stuff, and I got it for $28.
Jesus.
And, I know. I have Arkham Asylum. I guess I have two questions for you. I have Arkham Asylum, but I actually never beat it. I got probably at least halfway through it. How critical do you think it is for me to play through the rest of it before playing City?
Well, there are definite story threads that they reference from the first one into this one. So, and given the fact, I mean, that first one's not that long, and it's a great game. I would personally recommend you play that one first.
Okay.
And then roll right into this one because they're like, for example, do you remember? I mean, this isn't really a spoiler from the first one because that happened in the first half hour. Remember when you run into Zaz in the very beginning of the game? You take him down really easy, right?
Oh yeah.
In this one, he is pissed at you for what you did to him in the first one. So he's like an ongoing side quest where he's kidnapping people throughout Arkham City and he's making you trace phone calls to try to save people. And like I actually didn't wrap up that storyline, that side story, until after I finished the main storyline. So, and that happens for a couple of them. So I think, given the fact that that game's not that long and it's a great game, I would go ahead and play the first one, then roll right into this one.
Gotcha. Then I guess the other part is, which one did you like more?
I think I liked Arkham City more, just because there are some really good cameos from heroes and villains, and I like the side story stuff in this one, where the first one kind of you didn't really have those options. And I really like traveling the city as Batman and Catwoman. She's very different, but I know the open nature part of it I really liked a lot more. So I mean they're pretty close, but I think I like this one a little bit more.
Cool.
Remind me what platform you're playing it on.
Playing on PS3.
Okay.
I was gonna wait and get the PC one, but I played the first one on PS3, and I don't know. That's kind of a game I like to veg out on the couch and play. But I'm definitely. I think I bought the first one on PC when it was on sale for like $5 on Steam, and
same here.
The stuff with this one looks incredible on PC, so I'm probably gonna buy it when it's on sale for that same price down the road and replay through it. Because I don't know, the game's fantastic. I plan on playing through it again. I played through Arkham Asylum. No, not 3 times, but twice. So
wow,
do that again at some point. So this is I mean, if you really like the first Arkham Asylum, I know you didn't beat it, Steve, but I think you, from what we were talking before, you enjoyed it. You just kind of got sidetracked on other stuff.
That's that's part of my problem right now is I want to go back and play that before playing City, but I have so many other games that I'm playing at the same time. The same problem I had with Asylum is that there was other games inevitably that came up that kind of pulled me away from it. So
yeah, but you got it for $28. I wouldn't be in a rush to plow through it. I would maybe save that for the drought after Christmas. But if you like the first one, you'll love this one.
Cool.
One of the questions that I had, and I never beat Arkham Asylum. I think I got maybe a couple hours into it, and then I just never played it again because I'm crazy. But the Bat Vision, I can't remember what it's called. But the Batman vision in the first one, where the graphics were decent in that game, but you were like constantly in Bat Vision, and so it all looked like you were watching just a black and white video half the time. Did they improve that in Arkham City, where it's like you actually get to see, what it's supposed to look like, as opposed to being in Bat Vision the whole time?
Yes, they drastically changed that. There is no way you can play through this game in Cowl Vision or Bat Vision, whatever they called it. You can still use it, but it eliminates like a lot of your UI stuff. It also eliminates your tracker on the map. So the only time that I ever really used it was when I entered a room that, I had to go Predator-like, where he goes on the gargoyles and everything, and to track people. But other than that, when you're out in the open city, it's not even really useful at all to turn it on, because it blocks too much information, which I think is a really good way to minimize that, because I did the same thing. I thought the first game looked really, really good, but I kind of felt like I was wasting it because it just seemed stupid to not have that vision on. because you lost so much stuff. But it's a lot better in this one. I'm guessing I probably had it turned on 20% of the time that I was playing the game.
That's good to hear, because that was
maybe even less.
That was a big turnoff for me, and it's one of the factors that I consider in going back and actually playing that game. So
yeah,
that's good. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on with it?
No, I totally plan on playing some of the DLC that's coming out.
Sweet.
Yeah, but no, great game.
Awesome. Well, Dean.
Hey.
What you been playing?
So I've been playing a couple things, but mainly I've been playing. I don't know if you've heard about this game. It's by a small studio called Bethesda. Does that sound familiar to any of you?
They develop Linux-based games, right?
Actually, it's for the
Amiga.
Yes, they do it for Amiga.
Is there
or
a
Links
CD version coming out of this?
I've been playing Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
I got that from my Links.
Actually, you know what's funny is when I was going through my Oblivion crush back in the day, I actually downloaded the Elder Scrolls Travels, what is it, Stormhold, I think, for mobile. So I was playing on my little tiny quarter VGA flip phone back in the early 2000s, playing this shitty little Elder Scrolls game. And it was awful. It was a terrible, terrible game, but I played it.
You were in deep.
I was in deep, yeah. It was.
Dean's hardcore.
Sometimes I go down these paths that I don't mean to, like the whole Final Fantasy thing, and I don't even know what goes on. But anyway, I've been.
It's like me with my flight controller.
Yeah.
Oh God. You did cancel that, didn't you?
Yeah, I canceled that server.
How's your cert? Yeah. I forgot about that.
That flight stick's looking nice though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sitting up in the old office in the corner, wrapped up.
Oh, that's sad. You should sell that thing on eBay.
Yeah, I guess.
Or get Flight Sim or something. Oh man.
It'll sit there until Battlefield 4 comes out.
Maybe that'll support it finally.
Probably not. We do not support legacy products.
Oh man. But yeah, I've been playing Skyrim. Way too much Skyrim. My save game I think hit, oh god, probably about like 87 hours or something like that in 3 weeks, and it's sad. This game has got me, and it's got me deep, and I don't think I've played a game this obsessively since, I don't know the last time. But anyway, it's amazing. It continues to be amazing, and the only thing that I can really talk about, and I don't know if I could be spoiler or not because it's only been out for 3 weeks, but the thing I really want to talk about is the thing that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you think it's appropriate?
I don't know if it's really appropriate to talk about, but because you didn't even want to know about it, and I had to lead you to it.
Yeah, and I can understand that your experience where you just stumbled on this thing
totally by chance,
without any knowledge of it beforehand, that it would make it even much more special. And the thing that me and Steve are talking about is just a dungeon essentially that we encountered that is beyond anything else that I've ever seen in any other game.
Yeah, you say just a dungeon, but it's not just a dungeon. It's
just a dungeon. We'll just leave it. It's just a dungeon. It's just cool.
It's okay. I will say it's what I thought was just a dungeon and turn into how should I put it? It felt like it was almost a full game in and of itself.
Yeah. How long did it take you to go through that, by the way?
I won't even say that I'm done in there because I know there's some spots in there I have not explored, but I was in throughout. I'm talking. Okay, I'm just gonna say what it is. Well, should I even say the name of the place?
Just don't say the name.
Don't say the name.
Or you
Shit.
Can. I don't. If you don't want to hear about this,
okay, I can say the name of the place, and it's up to you if you want to go Google it or not. But there's a place called Aftland. It is a dwarven ruin that is inside a mountain, and it is fucking enormous. It took me. I spent about 3 hours in there.
It's the name proper that you're talking about exploring is actually spoilers.
Right, but it starts in Aftland.
Alfland,
or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is ALF, isn't it?
Yeah,
Alftland. Okay, I'm sure we sound like morons right now. But then it extends into a place called Blackreach.
Yes.
But no, what amazed me about the place was how there was so much story involved in it that you didn't really have to look for, but if you found it, it was very intriguing.
Yes, it was.
Finding there were certain journals left all over the place, not all over, but there's a few, and reading through them, which sometimes I don't even read through the journals when I pick them up. Occasionally I'll flip through them later, but I made it a point because I was already so amazed and enamored with the design of this place, which started off as what seemed to be just kind of some ruins in the side of this mountain that was all encased in ice. But as you go through the place, it's just so expansive. And then when you finally reach the end of it, it keeps going into Blackreach. It was going on and on and on. I just kept on getting more and more amazed with the level design and thinking, I started at the top of this mountain and I'm just going down and down and down. I was like, where in the fuck is this thing taking me? Yeah. But then reading those journal entries of certain people's stories along the way just made it that much more interesting. It was so awesome.
It's just very immersive, and what Skyrim does well is it tells a story. It does a very good job of, you encounter an area and you feel like something either just happened or something happened here, and this place is special and I need to figure out what's special about it.
Yep.
And sometimes it's very subtle, and sometimes it's a lot more obvious, like when they have journal entries laying out and things like that. But almost every single area tells a story like that. And the story that was told in this area, just by wandering and maybe not even looking at the journals themselves, but just by experiencing it, was kind of amazing. It's not a game moment that I'll forget, because it's just incredible. And I found a little secret in there too, I'll tell you about later if you ever want to go back. But I don't know, it's just amazing. I've not had a video game experience quite like Skyrim. It blows Oblivion out of the water, and I just can't stop playing this damn thing.
Right. Skyrim as a whole has been so impressive to me, but that area that Alfland and Blackreach area that we're talking about, I messaged you after. Well, I messaged you a lot of times, just freaking out about the place because I was just so floored with it. But the thing that I think I told you, towards the end of it, I think after I had basically found everything through it, was going back through any of the other dungeons in Skyrim is going to feel boring.
Yeah.
They're going to, even though they're still very impressive, nothing is going to impress me as far as an interior. I cannot foresee, at least, that anything as an interior will impress me as much as that. What was especially cool was when there was a few different exits to the place, but through Blackreach, one of the exits that I took, I went outside and I checked the map, and it was on the other mountain.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's how big the fucking place was.
That's one thing. One thing I didn't like about that area was the amount of exits that it did have, and I would have enjoyed it being a little bit more claustrophobic. But I'm weird like that when it comes to gaming. I kind of like having.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of like having that feeling of being, well, in Elder Scrolls at least, of being trapped. It's either back or forward for me. But there were quite a few exits, and I wish there hadn't been so many.
Yeah, see, I'm almost kind of opposite of that, because typically in an RPG like this, and I think it's been part of my problem in the Elder Scrolls games of the past, is I typically do not like interiors. I like being out in the open. That's my shtick. That's what I like. I like being out where I feel like I have options, and being stuck inside. You're saying you enjoy the claustrophobia. I do not like the claustrophobia. But this is one of those. This is probably the time. This is probably the moment where I'm actually looking forward to more of it, and especially when I got to Blackreach and saw how big and cavernous it was for being an interior. I was just so floored.
Yeah, and they've done dungeons a whole lot better in this game. They're much more varied than Oblivion. Obviously,
right.
They talk about that in previews constantly. And the one thing that is kind of lacking in in the game is more overland stuff. There isn't. I mean, there's not as much. There should be more overland content where you're actually outside and stuff like that. And it kind of stinks that there's not that much. But I mean, for a game that has as much content as it does, it's just a minor gripe. Yeah. Oh, and the only other thing I'm going to say is that if anybody is curious about seeing what Blackreach looks like, I kind of went fucking nuts and took a ton of screenshots and went crazy. So if you do feel like checking out my Steam profile, it's just TEHDEN and then space and then brackets MP. Don't look at the other Teden one because it's like, I don't know, some freak. Anyway, so
I want to look at that now.
He's got a very questionable profile picture. So anyway, that's not, if you look at the profile picture and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with him? That's not me. Okay. Anyway, but if you ever want to see what this place looks like, I have a ton of screenshots from the other day. So check them out. It's kind of cool. The only other Skyrim related thing that I got to say is that I've encountered 2 pretty major bugs with the 2 quest lines. I got a quest stuck in the companions where I couldn't proceed, and now I have a Thieves Guild quest that I can't continue on to the quest line anymore. Like, I'm stuck, and it won't actually allow me to continue. So I'm really hoping these bugs get ironed out. But for what this game is, it's like, I'm okay. Sure, there's 2 show-stopping bugs, but fuck, I've put in 80 hours.
I was about to say, you've put in a lot of hours to find just a couple bugs. I think I've only come across one. I put about 31 or 32 hours in.
Wow.
Yeah, I've only come across one, and it was kind of weird. It was something just probably happened by chance. I went to one of the enchanting tables to work, and when I went to exit it, because it like takes you down to that like first person like looking down at the table mode while your menu's up.
Yes.
When I exited the menu, it locked me in that position looking at the table.
I had that happen too. My favorite bug that I've experienced is I was walking out of my house in Whiterun, the Breeze home, and I hear this weird sound, and then all of a sudden I see this NPC come falling out of the sky, and then just like slam on the ground.
Was it from one of the giants hit him maybe?
No, it was a bug. He just fell out of the sky, and it was the beggar guy who wants you to steal the wine or whatever. But then he's like lying there dead, and the NPCs are just walking over him. So I had to reload, and then I went back out the door, and he didn't fall that time. So there's some hilarious bugs, but for the most part, it works pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, there's one more thing we have to hear about, not Skyrim related though. So sorry, listeners, for all the Skyrim talk. I'm sure you've probably grown sick of it by now, or you just like the game so much that you're okay with it. But
oh yeah, Jurassic Park the video, shame.
I like your description. Is that bad?
Yeah. So I'll give you just a real quick rundown. I won't take up too much more time here.
Before the rundown, how big of a Jurassic Park fan are you?
I've read the book, The Lost World. I watched the first movie in the theater 3 times, and I've seen it countless times on, VHS. I've never seen it in HD before.
Oh, well.
I've seen it tons. I saw The Lost World in the theater, and I have not seen the third one because the first one is the only real one. So I'm a pretty big Jurassic Park fan. Yeah, but
bigger than me. So go for it.
Yeah, I love those movies, or love that movie, excuse me, in the books. But the game itself, it does a pretty good job of giving fan service. Like it shows the other side of the story, like what happens to the Barbasol can, and just sort of behind the scenes, why is that happening? What happens to it and stuff like that. I might have been drinking when I played this, so forgive me if there's gaps in my memory. Anyway, but the problem comes with the technical issues and just the gameplay itself. So everyone should be relatively familiar, not everyone, but with Heavy Rain and how it's sort of hot buttons and doing specific movements in order to open a door or something like that. Well,
right,
the game.
Yep.
Yeah, and the game is very similar to that, and it plays out like a movie, but there are a bunch of technical issues, like the frame rate drops horribly, the audio continues to pop and do all these weird things, and then there's no continuity between scenes. Like you'll be running, and then all of a sudden it'll make this weird audio pop, the camera will shift to a different scene, and it's just really choppy, and it feels bad when you're doing the motions. Like sometimes they don't register, and sometimes they don't work right, and it just... I mean, if it didn't have all these weird technical issues, it might not suck so bad. It's just It's just really a shame. I mean, there's not a whole lot of freedom with the game because it does play out just like a movie. Like there isn't really any choice. It's not like they're regular adventure games where you have inventory puzzles and stuff like that. It's just you walk around and you do the motion and you play through the dialogues and you experience the technical bugs, and it's gotten really poor reviews as well. So I was really disappointed. I got it for free because I renewed my PSN Plus subscription for a year.
Oh.
So that was good. I didn't pay for it because I wouldn't recommend anybody pay for that game because it is a...
So if you paid for it would have been even worse.
Yeah, I would have been pretty pissed. It's technically, it just performs very poorly.
It just really surprises me that came out of Telltale.
I know, really. I played Back to the Future on the PS3 and I loved it. It ran really, really well and it was a great game. And then just playing this is like, what? This came from the same studio? Jesus Christ, it's bad. So I hopefully will play through the rest of the episodes. I'm not quite sure I will, just because it's not very fun.
Sucks. All right. Well, bummer. I guess we'll go to me then. There's been a bunch of shit that I've been playing, but the only one that I think I will bring up for time's sake is Forza 4. I'm kind of late to the party on this one.
You love them cars.
I love them cars. I do love cars. I actually just bought a Grio's Random Orbital for on sale. I can't wait until spring comes so I can use it and polish up the car. I do love cars, and I was a pretty decently sized fan of Gran Turismo 5. I bought the wheel and all that stuff.
Yes, you were.
What?
A big fan of Gran Turismo 5.
Yeah. Why is that funny?
Just go on, sorry.
All right. But I have to say Forza 4 I'm liking a lot more than Gran Turismo 5.
No.
Yeah.
And you're playing with a controller, right?
And I'm playing with a controller because I don't have a wheel for the Xbox.
Yeah, okay.
It's driving you nuts, isn't it?
It's kind of driving me nuts that I don't have one. Because my PS3 wheel is collecting dust because I've barely played that game. I will say for sure, I think Gran Turismo 5 looks better than Forza 4. Like, pretty much no contest. There's things that Forza 4 does, especially with frame rate, that makes it look very, very good and very slick. But just graphically, Gran Turismo 5 just does straight up looks better. But Forza 4, the presentation of the game, I enjoy quite a bit more. But more than that, the one thing that I have enjoyed and what keeps me, played it a bunch, and what keeps me going back to playing it is how they've done the ranking system of the cars and how they pit you up against similarly ranked cars. In Gran Turismo 5, it kind of became a thing that quickly you would get a car and you could race. You could kind of grind racing, get enough money, soup up your car, or buy a fast enough car, and then go back into races and just tromp through like everybody and like no problem. You could it was a very easy way to go through and get money, and there just wasn't a good presentation to keep you going through to races that would be challenging. And Forza, the World Tour thing, and I have not done any online stuff with Forza yet, but I want to do that sometime soon. But just the presentation of the World Tour thing and how they match you up with similarly ranked cars, because what they do is like every car has a like A, B, C all the way through like to a S rank or whatever class car to like racing spec stuff, and within that like A or B there is like 100 points, and depending on what modifications you do to your car, it will increase or decrease that number. So there's a lot more room for making sure that you are evenly matched against someone. I have had, the thing that I love about it is it's a lot more challenging, especially if you want it to be, which I do. So it's hard to explain, but you get a certain amount of money for each race, and the amount of money that you get can be affected by the driving aids that you leave on or turn off in the options. So if you turn off the driving line, you get like 10% more money. If you turn off the steering assist or the braking assist, you get like 10 or 15% more money.
Oh,
so if
that's
you,
cool.
Yeah, and like the anti-lock brake system, like all those things, depending on what you leave on or take off, it will give you or take away more money from the amount that you earn for winning the race or wherever you place in the race. And I've turned off enough that I leave like the traction control and partially the anti-lock brake on, but then everything else is pretty much turned off. No driving line. I use manual transmission, etc., etc. So I have like 110% or 115% money in income, whereas if you leave it on defaults, which I find it weird that the defaults leave like all of the driving aids on, even like the steering and the braking aids. So you like with default, you only get like 60 or 70% of the money. So
it's the tutorial period. You gotta.
I guess I just found it weird that they just kind of left that on there as by default. But anyways, if you go and turn that all, most of it at least off, the game becomes challenging to a degree that I think just kills Gran Turismo 5 for me. There's been so many like down to the last few turns races, and it's been so like so exhilarating, like edge of my seat. I'm sitting there like trying to hit the apex on turns so well that I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's the challenge is what makes that game so much more fun. So, and I know you can turn off a lot of the driving aids on Gran Turismo 5 as well, but I don't know. It just doesn't lend itself like, oh, you should do that.
It sounds like a cool incentive that they give you to actually turn the aids off. That's interesting. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've actually never played Forza either. So
I don't know. None of this sounds as good as hard driving.
Hard driving is awesome because you can do that loop.
I know. So I was just thinking, you haven't said anything about a loop, so this automatically is not as good as hard driving.
Hard driving was awesome. I think I had that on the Genesis, or maybe it was the. I don't remember, but I think it was the Genesis that I had.
There was a
that
Genesis version.
Yeah.
There was an Atari Lynx version.
Jesus, there was.
Yeah.
Of course, you know that.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. But that's all. If you like driving games and you have an Xbox, you probably already know about it. So, blah blah blah. But I like it. I like it a lot. But that's all for games. No real news? Is there any news?
There's the big unlaunching of Glitch, if you want to touch on that at all. Yeah.
Glitch, the nice social game. It's unlaunching.
Mm-hmm.
The game launched, and they're actually putting it back into beta to add more fun. Dean, do you have any details that would be relevant?
Yeah, so I guess what they're going to be doing is to make sure that the game is more accessible to new players. And what that means, I don't know. They're just saying that they're trying to make it more fun right up front. And then the second thing that they were doing, it sounds like they're going to be giving players tools to do like world creation. So to create buildings, to build new locations and stuff like that. You can already build roads and stuff in Glitch, but it looks like they're going to really expand on that so that there's actual real world building tools and stuff like that. And they're basically saying that they're going back to beta because they want to make some really drastic changes and not do it incrementally like they would do if the game was live. And the cool part is that they are offering, if people are pissed off or whatever, they are offering refunds to people who have purchased subscriptions and stuff like that. But I think that they can do that based on the success of the game because it's been hugely successful.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's actually really interesting that they're going back and doing this. And I really like Glitch. I've put quite a bit of time into it. I haven't played it for a while, but I'm excited to see especially world building tools because I really enjoy that part of some games. It'll be really interesting to see what they're actually going to do. So yeah, kind of weird that they unlaunched it, but
that is very weird.
But whatever. At least they're not money grabbing dicks, and they're going to give people their money back if they get pissed. So
all right,
the end. Yeah.
What up? All right. I think that's it. No emails. So, thanks, I guess.
You should email Steve at Multiplaying.
Multiplaying at gmail.com.
Just say hi to Steve. Let him know you're there.
Tell me you love me.
Make sure this email works.
But yeah, Twitter's. Dean, who are you on Twitter?
I'm Tehden. Tehden.
Awesome. Jason.
Jabberant. Jabberant.
And I am Slurms MP. Slurms MP. And make sure you follow Multiplaying at Multiplaying. That should be relatively easy to spell out. And until next week or next time, and just to let you know, possibly next week, we're going to have to try to figure out when we can fit it in. We have to do our awards show for the 2011 Multis. And after that, the week after, there's a chance that some or most of us will be in, well, not Dean, not Brian, will be in playing the early release, hopefully, of The Old Republic. So with next week, that might be our last show for the year.
Gotta get
Possibly.
those tuxes pressed, boys.
Yeah, I get the champagne.
Did you guys make a logo last year for boxes so that people could put on their boxes?
No.
Oh, they should make a logo this year. You know they're going to do it.
Yeah. I don't know how to I don't know how to respond to that.
That's fine.
It's all good. Yeah. Thanks, Dean. You just killed the podcast.
Yep.
I murdered it.
Fold up shop here.
God damn it.
Sorry about that.
Let's break down these tables. Let's get these chairs out of here. Someone grab the Sprite.
Nobody wants that Sprite.
No one.
Flat, anyway.
The Sprite's been sitting there forever.
Yeah, it's kind of warm.
Does anyone want this big K Cola?
Um,
Thunder Mountain.
Does anybody want to take the centerpieces?
Thunder.
I'll take it home, I guess.
Got these centerpieces.
This
looks
one's kinda
great in your
nice.
apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what is that?
It's Carl.
Yes, I think he works for the VFW.
Oh, okay.
It's Carl, yeah.
Did you guys see that toilet?
Oh, yeah. You didn't see that?
You didn't.
No.
God, there's a bunch of savages in this town.
It's disgusting. They eat.
They eat?
They're eating something.
That's what happens
I don't know
after
what
you do
they're
that.
But they're eating something. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. Let's do this next year, you know?
We're gonna get canceled. I know. No one's in control of it, but someone's gonna come and cancel us.
Yeah. It's going to call from somebody.
I can't allow this to exist anymore.
That'll be the one email that we get.
Yeah,
Guys, just stop.
from the network.
The email from the network. We have to cancel you.
We're not even on the network. That's what makes this so awkward.
Well, gentlemen, no point in hanging around this dump any longer.
Wait! Where are you going? I was gonna make espresso.
Show's over, folks.
You can't go! All the plants are gonna die. Take off, eh?
Thanks for listening to Multiplaying, the companion podcast at multiplaying.net. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to multiplaying@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes and visit our website at www.multiplaying.net.
We've made a lot of friends, shared a lot of laughs, often at the expense of others.
I think some people are going to be upset.
Let me just close this conversation by saying you are one unique individual.
Thank you and good night.